Welcome, everybody. This is April 24th, and this is episode number 581 of the Ibug Buzz Call. This is Marie Nelson, and I will be facilitating tonight along with our favorite lady, Sandhya Rao. And this call is all about iOS. That means the iPhone, the iPad, the iPod Touch, the Apple Watch, or the Apple TV. In addition, it is permitted to discuss the applications that are used with these devices as well as accessories that you may have. So before we get started with our Q&A, I'm going to relinquish the mic to Sandhya Rao, who's going to tell you about all the upcoming events for Ibug. Go ahead, Sandhya.
All right. Yes, thank you, Marie. We have another jam-packed week, so let's get started. Everything is Central Time and everything is on Zoom unless specified otherwise. As Marie said, the next 2 hours we're going to be talking about the iOS. Tomorrow we will continue that discussion on Clubhouse from 5 to 6. If you have questions in the middle of the night, I always encourage you to write them down and come back tomorrow. Then in the evening, we will have Mac and Talk back on Zoom. So all your questions about the Mac, whether you have one or thinking about getting one, that's where you should come from 7 to 8:30. Wednesday, we're off. Thursday, it's iBug's Life. We're going to be doing, it's a fun one. It's I Do Anything for Love. We're going to be doing some cooking with a guest host that we all know and love, Kirby. So yes, we're really excited about that. So come and check it out. Then Friday's Ibug Night at the Virtual Movies. The movie starts at 8, social time at 7:30, discussion and trivia to follow. Then Saturday is the iBug Apple Workshop from 2 to 4. Gonna have some Apple news and some demonstrations and all kinds of good stuff. So come and check it out. We're gonna have a presenter whom we haven't heard from for a while. So looking forward to that. One of our favorite apps. So come and find out what we're talking about. That'll be on Saturday. Okay. Social media. We have a website, ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org. Twitter at ibugtoday, Instagram at ibugtoday. We have an email account for non-technical questions is at ibugtoday@gmail.com. You can listen to our podcasts on various platforms, including our website, YouTube, and your favorite podcasting apps. And right now, we are doing a drawing for the $500 gift card for either the Apple Store, the Amazon Store, or the Google Play Store, because, we are a nonprofit, and we would love to have your support. Thank you for everybody who has already contributed. We thank you very much. So it's $10 for a one ticket or $50 for 6 tickets. The drawing is on May 20th at our 12th anniversary. You do not need to be present, but we would love for you to be there because it will be a special edition of the Apple Workshop. It'll be a little different than what we normally do. So come and visit us at that time. And let's see, I think that's it, Marie. I'm going to hand it back to you. That's what's going on in the iBug world today.
Okay, very good. Before we get started with the questions and answers, we would like everybody to go around, temporarily unmute yourself and give us your name and where you're from.
Angelo in Ottawa.
Hi, Angelo. And who was the other one?
Janet in Colorado.
Hi, Janet.
Hello.
Julie from Houston.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Pete, Jacksonville.
Hello, Pete.
Jake in Michigan.
From Atlanta.
Hi, Jake and Bridget from Atlanta.
Thank you.
Is that Marcia?
Marcia,
And from St. Louis, Missouri.
Is that Ann?
Oh, go on. Ann from St. Louis, Missouri. It's
Welcome, Ann. And Marcia.
Thank you.
Sarasota.
Hello, Herbie.
Chanel in Houston.
Hello, Chanel.
Gary
we
in
do have-
Austin.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Gary.
That's okay.
Rosetta from Georgia.
Hello, Rosetta.
Vincent, New Jersey.
Vincent.
Sarah, Vermont.
Hi, Sarah.
Jody from
Helene
New
from
Hampshire.
Woodstock.
Judy, and who was the other one?
Jody and Helene.
Helene. Hi, Helene.
Ned from Texas.
Hello, Ned.
Thank you.
Linda from Texas.
Hi, welcome, Linda.
Greg in Texas.
Hello, Greg.
Ed from Georgetown.
Welcome, Ed.
Thank you.
Jerry from Alberta.
Welcome from Alberta, Jerry.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Sandhya from Houston.
Hello, Sandhya.
Deb from Kansas.
I'm sorry, what's the name?
Deb.
Deb. Hi, Deb.
Hi.
This is Suva from Houston.
Hello, Suva. Somebody got a burning question that they need solved?
This is Marcia. I'll go ahead and start.
Okay, go ahead, Marcia.
When I'm in a note, I can flick up or flick down and I can pin the note or whatever. But it has something that says drag, and I don't understand what I can do with the drag. I have had some notes that I wanted to put down at the bottom, and I thought maybe I could drag it down to the bottom, but I can't figure out how to do that.
Okay, does somebody have a resolution for her?
This is Herbie.
I would go ahead, Herbie.
I mean, I would assume you'd be able to drag the note around the screen. I would imagine, like, once I've not tried it, but I would double tap where it says drag and see if it brings up the window where it lets you drag it. But without actually trying it, I can't tell you more than that. But I would probably double tap, and that would probably activate the drag field.
Well, I have double tapped and it said drag, and then I didn't want it, so I had to go back and double tapped again to get rid of it. So that didn't work too well for me. Anyway, maybe somebody will play around with it and come up with the answer.
Okay.
This is Jody.
Yes, Jody, go ahead.
You might have to go to edit and turn edit first. I've never tried it, but I'm fighting with notes anyway now. That's one of the problems I've been having. But you might have to go to edit and then drag.
Yeah, I've been working in notes a lot. So, yes.
This is Shri.
This is
Okay,
Sarah.
go ahead, Shri.
So there are certain apps within apps to apps you can do a drag and drop. So for example, I know in the calendar app, you can select drag and drop it into the reminders app. So I suspect when you do a drag, you can take that information and drop it to another app. Because when you go to the other app, it's going to say drop.
So you might
This is Sarah.
go ahead, Sarah.
You can drag the note to another folder, another area on your notes app.
Let's move.
It's drag and drop, which is the same. Yes, you can move, but when you drag it, you're dragging it to take it someplace else. And when you get on top of another folder, it will say you can drop it, drop available, and then you double tap. So it's basically just to organize your notes, because if you use it all the time, you've probably got tons of notes. So you want to organize them. Yeah. So make folders and drag and drop into those folders.
Okay, that gives you a couple of things to try out anyway. So that's very good. Okay, do we have another question?
This is Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I just checked that, and what VoiceOver says, if you move your finger down, then it to a different folder, then it'll say drop onto item,
I think what was said earlier is correct. I think you're just basically adding it to that whatever folder you change your focus to.
Okay.
I have not
Very
tested
good.
that, but that's what VoiceOver is saying. Drop onto items.
Okay.
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
What if you just want to move it up and down in the list and you want to
Thank you,
rearrange the
Jody.
order? Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Jody.
if you don't want it in a separate folder, you just want to put it in a different place on the list.
This is Sarah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
What I do is you double tap, the long press, like double tap and hold that particular note and just pull it down, and it will tell you what it's going past, and basically lift your finger when you get to the place where you want it to drop.
Okay,
And
that sounds like a regular drag and drop.
it is,
feature.
but that's the only way. Exactly, it's the old-fashioned kind, but it's the only way I have found to move it in a list.
Okay, we do need to move on now to another subject.
This is Sarah.
Okay, Ned first and then Sarah. Go ahead, Ned.
Yes, this is a calendar question. I used Siri to create an event, and it gave when I went to my calendar, I found the month, the day, and the time that I wanted. But then in the line, it said event. How do I get the type of event? If it's a lunch or a person's name or an appointment, how do I get that into that line?
After you
This is
start,
Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
I'm a little bit confused as to what you're trying to do. So can you kind of repeat that again?
Okay, I woke up Siri and I said, create an event. And she said, what day and time? And I gave her the month, the date, and the time. And she said, okay. And then when I went there, I found it on my calendar. It was there. But in the line that tells me what it is, it said event. It said the word EVENT rather than a doctor's appointment or a lunch.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying. So what I did, I deleted the EVENT, then I typed in the name of the person.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So yeah, you did everything correctly then. I guess I'm still a little bit lost as to were you unable to save it then, or?
No, it was there. It was there. Okay, I didn't realize. I thought creating a calendar event created everything, the type of event as well as the day, time. Okay.
Well, I think there's a difference between what you wanted and what you were trying to do versus Siri understanding what you wanted. It sounds to me like you were giving her the correct commands, but she wasn't hearing you correctly. So that's what it sounds like to me.
This is Chris.
Vincent was next. Vincent, did you have a comment about the calendar?
Yes. When you are creating an event, for example, if you're going to have a lunch, instead of saying event, just say schedule lunch, whatever the date it is, and the person's name, and then you can mention the date and the time at the same time. Otherwise, if you pause long enough, then Siri will ask you when do you want to schedule it for and at what time. But just mention lunch or doctor's visit, dental appointment, whatever the title that you prefer, and Siri will include that in the event and name it lunch or doctor's appointment or whatever you want to call it.
This is Chris.
Chris, did you have a comment about that?
Yeah, when I create a calendar event, I just use the phrase, I just say, like if it's something I want for Tuesday, and if it's Ibug or whatever, I'll just say, set event Tuesday, 9 a.m., titled Ibug. And by using that word title, it just creates the events, it does it for an hour by default, and it calls it Ibug. And I don't say called, because then it tries to call people or set invitations. But if I use the word title, it seems to work perfectly.
I'd like to add, and there are several different ways you can state that. I have even said schedule a doctor's appointment for Monday the 3rd at 3 p.m. and it's done. And then if you want to add any alerts or anything like that, you have to go to the calendar and do those things. But yeah, there's several different ways you can word it. But if you put the title in that request, it will put it in there. Karen, was it Karen? Go ahead, Karen.
Yep. Like you said, there are different ways of doing it. I normally say it in the beginning, and sometimes I'll forget and I'll just say schedule, and then I'll say the date or whatever, and she'll put the date and the time in there, and then she'll say, okay, this is the event with no name, and then immediately, you have to say change name of event. You have to do it like immediately, and then she'll stick the name in there, or if the name is wrong, I'll do it that way. And you have to be careful, of course, not to say, lunch with Sharon, because it may try to send Sharon an invite. Because I did that one with someone, and it was just a nightmare, because then I didn't want it to say that, so I had to cancel it. So the person had already gotten the invite, and they got this notification that the event was canceled. And they're like, "What event?" So they're calling me like, "You canceled the event." Like, what event was it? We had a meeting. I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sorry." So don't say with somebody, because they just schedule it.
Okay. Next question.
This is Sarah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Does anybody know or have this problem where face identification on the iPad does not work? Like, I keep on resetting it, and it just wants my passcode.
Okay, who's using Face ID on an iPad? What version of iOS are you running, Sarah?
The latest.
Okay.
What is that?
16.4.1, I think.
4.1, yeah.
Doesn't sound like we've got any
This is Sri.
takers on that one. Go ahead, Sri.
I'm sorry. Are you using that iPad in the landscape or portrait mode?
It's in landscape.
So you know that the camera is on the left side of it.
Yeah.
So are you looking on the left side of it, or are you looking at the center of it?
I'm just in front of it.
I wonder,
like you do with the phone.
Are you having any problems when the iPad is in the portrait mode and using Face ID?
It's never in portrait mode. It's always, because it's in front of the keyboard. I have it sitting on the keyboard.
I just know that the iPad camera is on the left side if it's on the landscape mode. So I'm just wondering whether...
yeah, it's on the upper left, yeah.
Right. So I'm just wondering if the face is not seeing that side?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like if you're in front of the screen, it should be getting the face. Because I mean, I'm not behind it. I'm in front of the screen.
This is Kathy.
Go ahead with Kathy. Go ahead with Kathy.
I was just going to say, what is the lighting like when you're doing this? Because sometimes if you try and do it in the middle of the night or something, and I'm also having the same problem where it'll go to give me the face and it'll make a click and then it'll say enter passcode, like it wasn't able to do the face. And
yeah,
I'm not sure. It says somewhere on the top of the screen, like slide to do face, whatever. But I don't know. It doesn't, a slide isn't really what it wants, because if I slide my finger like from left to right, it doesn't go back and do the face picture again. So
This is Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, you might try the turning the attention awareness, toggling that filter off. I don't know if that would make a difference or not. You might try that.
Do you mean the focus? The focus?
No, there's an
awareness?
attention. I think it's called attention awareness. Yeah, you might check turning that on and off and see if that makes a difference.
I believe that is this, Sarah. I believe that is off, because I sort of tried doing a lot of things, like, getting rid of it, resetting it, getting rid of it, resetting it. And so that, I believe, because I know I have them set up the same, the phone and the iPad. I'll check it to see if that is true.
Go ahead, Dee.
Okay, one thing I want to say kind of that Sri mentioned about the camera being in the upper left-hand corner. That is not always true if you flip your iPhone around, because you can use, your iPad, because you can use it in any direction, even landscape. Like I have the touch button, and if I put my touch button to the right, yeah, the camera is up in the upper left corner. But if I put my touch button over to the left, then my camera is in the bottom right-hand corner. So I just want to mention that. And I was on a group today, and people are talking about this same issue. And I think they're thinking that maybe there's been a little glitch with the latest update and things, and they think that will probably be getting straightened out with the next update. So a lot of people evidently are having that issue.
Thank you. This is Sarah, and yeah, I don't have the touch. Anyway, it's always in landscape and it's always on my keyboard, so the camera's always in the same place. But
So if she doesn't change the orientation, yeah, it would be in the same place. Okay, do we have a new question?
This is Helene.
Hello, Helene. What's got today?
I have, I don't know if it's a Siri problem, but when I want to make a phone call and I say, call Patty, it will say, Siri will say, what do you want to know about Patty? And then, or text Patty. That's really not call. I'll say text Patty. And then if I say text Susan, and they'll say, what do you want to know about Susan? So I have to repeat several times what I'm saying, but it's still the same question. What do you want to know about that person? Does anyone have that situation?
This is Janet.
Go ahead, Janet.
Yes, I've had that situation and it's annoying, and I don't know if it's a bug or what, but it is annoying.
Anybody else? I think
Mark in Montreal.
Go ahead, Mark.
I just say iMessage or message whoever. I don't use the word text.
This is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
So when she says, what do you want to know about Marie or whatever? And then I just have to, I don't know. I think I'm so frustrated that I speak a little louder, like probably yelling, and that helps. So that's all I can say.
This is
Herbie.
Helene and then Herbie.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I just yell.
Okay, Herbie.
So a couple of things. First of all, one thing you can try is give yourself, like when you press the Siri button, give it like a few seconds before you say anything. So don't like press it and then call right away, and then say call. So like give it like 5 or 10 seconds and see if that gives it a chance to fully wake up and listen to you. I have found that can be a little bit effective, but I definitely have experienced this bug.
I would like to add that Siri does a lot of really annoying things these days, and that's one of them. I'll say, call my sister home, and it'll say, which number do you want to use? Well, she's only got one home number. Okay, do we have another question?
Mark in Montreal? Okay. I have a no-name. My wife got me a Bluetooth keyboard. The mystery is there's no name on it, not even on the keyboard or whatsoever. And I don't know why and for what reason she got a trackpad on it, because that's very useless for blind people, I find. And I keep hitting it as I'm trying to type, because I'm a fairly quick typist. And I want to know if there's a way to disable the trackpad. I know you can with certain Apple keyboards, but if it's a no-name $30 or $35 Canadian Walmart trackpad, I'm just wondering if there's a way to disable that sucker.
Bridget.
Go ahead, Bridget.
Okay, it's about the face recognition. So if you do the face recognition with one look, then come back another day with another look, would it recognize your face with a different look?
Who's got an answer for Bridget on Face ID? Are you saying like the next day you just may have a different hairstyle or clothes?
Like, no, yeah, no, hairstyle. Yes, hairstyle is my thing.
Okay. Got an answer?
This is Karen.
Go ahead.
You'll be fine with a different hairstyle, Bridget. It'll still recognize you. Now, maybe if you wore glasses one day when you did it, when you set it up, and you don't have your glasses the next day, something like that would be an issue. So not a hairstyle or a hat, as long as it's not, over your eyes or something.
Okay. Well, let me ask this question. You said that not over your eyes. Just an example why I asked. Some days I wear an afro and it's like big and it's kind of over like the top of my head, my forehead. But then other days when I'm going to therapy, I plait my hair. And then another day when I be a young 58-year-old, I just wear my hair going back.
That'll be
So
fine.
I just have 3 different looks.
That'll be fine,
So I was
Bridget.
just wondering. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Good question.
This is Carrie.
Go ahead, Terry.
I have found that sometimes when you're asking for group names like that SIRI doesn't always like that. And even sometimes when you're asking call so and so, the person's name, it doesn't always like it. And I think I've heard that that's kind of a ongoing, inconsistent kind of a bug. And sometimes it'll, rather than saying, just to confirm, do you want to call so and so, it might even say, do you want to call, and it'll list a phone number instead of the person's name. And it's supposed to tell you the person's name. So I'm thinking that Siri is, I don't know if he's going through growing pains or what, but I think it is an inconsistent kind of a bug that pops up.
Thank you.
At least it's been that experience for me for a long time.
Okay.
This is Kathy.
Go ahead, Kathy.
You might try changing the name. Like it might have, like, I don't know whether it always checks first name when you say call so and so, and maybe the peer group is under not the first name or the last name, but under company name or something. So you could try putting like peer support in the first name field. So when it goes to check, it will just say it. Sometimes I've had trouble with certain ones and I go in and change their name or something, even change what you say. Like I used to have this problem with my husband and my mother. I would say call Paul and it would say calling mom. It's like it was just something about the way that I said them. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Any other solutions?
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
Bridget, did you ever take a look at that contact card and see if the fields are in there correctly?
No, I just double tap and send it to my contacts.
You might want to go to your contacts, like Shri said, and just check through it and look at all the fields and see if they're in there correctly.
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
I just wanted to take a minute, if I could, to break it down a little bit more for Bridget. What they're talking about when they say fields, Bridget, is when you get into the actual screen of your contact, there's a first name and then a last name. and those are fields. So, and if you put a contact card or even the name of a group or a company, sometimes it depends on which field you got the name in. So if it's peer support group, you might look and see where it is in the fields. Is it in the first name field? Is it in the last name field? Or is it split between both? Like your first name might be peer, the way it populated, the way it filled in those first name, last name fields on that screen. That's what they're talking about with fields. So take a look at the name of the contact there and see how they're split between first name and last name.
Okay, thank you for telling me something and giving me something to look at. Thanks.
Oh,
Sure. You're welcome.
All right, Bridget. Good questions. What's our next good question?
You, Lisa.
Go ahead, Elisa.
If I get a picture via text message, correct, and you want to share it to your social medias or anything like Facebook, and you put the share, do you have, and you want to put the caption, like what is it about? You have to go in the Facebook page and put the caption, or you can do it from the photo itself.
Okay, guys. When and where do you do a caption on a photo?
This is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
I mean, I know there is a way to add a caption on the picture individually, but I know in the past on Facebook, I would go ahead and write up the description, or you can always try the alt text. I never got that fancy, and then, upload your photo. But I'm not sure if you put the caption on the photo on the iPhone and whether that carries over to Facebook. I haven't tried it, so maybe somebody else knows.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
I do believe that if you do add the caption in the photo and then put it into the Facebook, I do believe those captions does carry over.
This is Mark in Montreal.
Go ahead, Mark.
This is a real complicated process. I've been trying to deal with this with friends, and you have to, when you're doing it in a photo, you got to go to markup text, and then you've got to go to add, and then depending whether you add a description or what's the other one called? If you add a description, it'll only work with voiceover. The other one, it might be called the caption, I'm not sure. And then if you double tap on caption and put your text, or it might just say text without the word description. And you have to put it in there for it to be seen by everybody and not just voiceover readers. And then you have to, once you've added it, you have to save it twice. Like, it's really complicated. I'm still trying to get all the steps down. And I screw it up almost every time because I have to go back and do it again 2 or 3 times before I get it right. I don't know if Anonymous or anybody has done a podcast on this, but it would be a really good idea. Pete, are you listening? It would really be helpful for somebody to break this down in the context where a blind or partially sighted person could understand the steps and get them down, because it's doable, absolutely, but it's complicated. And I don't want to give people wrong information. I know there are about 4 or 5 steps involved to get it right. And if you put it in a text description, it'll show for everybody anywhere, wherever you send the photo. But if you just put in an audio description, or it's called a description, I think, that's the one where it'll only work with voiceover. I'm done speaking. Sorry.
That's okay. I have a quick question about this issue because I haven't done much of that. And I'm assuming she said she wanted to share with Facebook. You would have to go into your photos first and do that caption or whatever before you try to share it, correct? You couldn't do it during the sharing process.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, I thought so, but just wanted to clarify.
Who was
Alice,
that? Question?
Alice?
Yes. May I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Alice.
When I use Siri to voice text, she doesn't always get my grammar correctly. So then I go and try to go into the typing mode and try and type my own message. But I also like to put punctuations in my text. Is there an easy way to get to the punctuation page or line? I usually have to type on the alphabet and then go back and type on the number, and that's where I find the punctuation. Is there a place on the alphabet page keyboard where I can just find that punctuation?
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
Not on the iPhone, no. Punctuation is in the number section, the number keyboard. If you're using Siri to dictate a message, or even if you are dictating a message using the dictate button, you can insert your punctuation in there. By saying period, comma, exclamation point.
I'm sorry. When I say period, she writes the word period. What am I doing wrong?
I don't know. That's a good question. Occasionally, she'll type in the word instead of the punctuation for me, but most of the time I don't have that issue.
Okay, anybody else got an answer?
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
You might say dot instead of period, and it would put a period. But it will put the punctuation if you say it.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
One other thing you could also do, if you're familiar with handwriting, you could go to the handwriting on the rotor and change it to symbols and do your punctuations. If you know how to type or finger write that punctuation on the screen.
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
I just wanted to add to what Jody commented on. Another term for period, and by the way, I always say period, and it 99% of the time it gets it right. But if I say it fast, period, for some reason, it seems to put the dot in there. But another term for period is the British term, which is called full stop. So if you say, this is the end of the sentence, full stop, it should type in the dot instead of the words.
Okay,
but keep trying on period. It should work.
I'd like to add, you can also do a return by just saying new line at the end of a sentence. You can say new line and it will start a new paragraph for you. Okay, any other comments about Alice's problem or new questions?
This is Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, Alice, you might try just different voice inflections when you're saying period, and maybe say it quicker at the end of the sentence. But yeah, I have not had any problem with that.
Kathy.
Okay, Kathy.
There was an article. Does anybody know how to Google it? I mean, there was sort of a little lesson on how to use dictation with Siri. I can't remember, where it came from, but it had a couple of good tips in it that were worth reading. I can't remember what they were, but You might Google, like, how do you dictate using Siri, and sometimes it'll point out a good article or, give a bunch of tips.
Okay, Alice, I hope that'll help some.
Gary.
Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I don't have a contact for myself, and I was curious if I need to bother with that, because I've seen people who have themselves in their list of contacts. So I was just curious if I needed to bother with that, or if it didn't matter.
Anybody have an answer?
This is Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
If you have a contact card for yourself and anybody asks you for your contact card, you can just forward it to them. It's a lot easier than just sending them information.
So I just go into contacts and create that for myself, I guess.
Yeah, I think right at the beginning, there's a space that has I forget, I thought I brought it up and brought it up automatically and just fill it in.
Yeah. All right. I'll just go to add contact and put myself in there. I'm just curious about that.
Okay.
Thanks.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
I think when you're doing that, you should also be careful how you create that contact. I usually have one that's actually my Apple ID contact, which is the main contact, and I also have another contact that I send to people, so it doesn't have all the personal information, because I do use my personal contact to fill in forms, which has, my address and name and so forth. But I also have a contact where I just have maybe my email address if I want to send it to someone, or just the phone number. So I'm just suggesting creating a separate contact that you'll be actually using to share with people.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Thanks for that.
This is Jody.
Good answer. Good. Yes, Jody.
It's also really handy to have a contact for yourself if you use GPS, because I'll be out walking and I'll say, get directions to home, and it will, give me the right directions to my house.
Janet, go ahead.
All right. For Mark, your question concerning Zoom, I did a test on Janet's phone with just doing a 4-finger touch near the top of the phone, and it immediately announced who was speaking.
Yeah, I finally got, it's Mark in Montreal. I finally got that to work. It doesn't work consistently, but I'd say about 80% of the time it does. So yeah, it's just, you just got to hit it right and be right with your timing, and it seems to be working. So thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm having the same problem in Notes, that when I go in there, the only way I can get down past a certain place is to put it on as though I was text editing, and it's just really frustrating to me to not be able to get to other places in the Notes. So thank you for bringing that up.
This is Jody.
Okay. Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, we were definitely in write mode rather than read mode, but I think when you want to go to when you like Marcia just said, trying to figure out where you are, I find that I have to do a 1-finger double tap to get into the message rather than just kind of like skimming it. So it's very tricky. I don't know if it's updates or what, but I used to like Notes back when it was what you see is what you get, back when they first developed it.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
I think what happens when you're in the Notes app, you have two modes. You have a note that's you're actually editing and a note that's completed. Once you hit the done button, all you're getting is the preview of the note, which are just going to be a few lines of it, until you go in and you're in the edit mode again. Then you have access to the full note.
Movie.
This is Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
So I wanted just to follow up on the contact card, your own contact card. It's interesting, if you open the Contacts app and you do a 4-finger tap at the top and just start flicking right, then you'll get to past the search window, and you'll get to your A's, whatever you have an A. If you flick back to the left, then you'll hear it announce my card. And same thing with if there are any contacts to be merged. If you're flicking right and flicking forward from the top of the screen, a lot of times I don't hear that merge contacts. If I get to the A's, the first entry in A, and flick to the left, then VoiceOver will announce that. And the same thing with my card. It's kind of weird. I don't know if other people are experiencing that.
Okay, if there's no further questions, maybe I'm going to turn it over. Sandhya.
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty close.
Thank you, Marie. We are ready. It's the midpoint of the call, and we'd like to welcome anybody that didn't get to say hello the first time. Please say who you are and where you are.
Mark in Montreal.
Welcome.
Elisa in
Brad,
Porter,
I'm in
Texas.
Dallas.
Okay, Lisa and Brad, welcome.
Carrie from Arlington Heights.
Hey, Terrian.
Shay from Seattle.
Welcome.
Kathy from Tulsa.
Hello, Kathy. Please, who else?
Claudia in Houston.
Oh, hey, Claudia. Welcome. Okay.
Alice, Alabama.
Hello, Miss Alice. Welcome.
Good evening.
Priscilla Vanessa, Georgia.
Hello, Priscilla.
Vanessa, Georgia.
Hello, Miss Vanessa.
Hello.
Now, all right, okay. So we're going to now have our big reveal for the movie, and with those incredible clues, our very own Ibug guy. Ibug guy, are you out there somewhere? All right.
So we're ready for another big reveal. Big crowd here tonight. Love it. Love it. All right. So what are we going to do? We've got some clues for you to guess what movie we're going to be seeing this Friday night. Did you already tell them the time and all that?
No.
Okay, so this Friday, 8 p.m., we have our movie. You can come in early, 7-something, 15 or 30, and that's Central Time. Join us for the pre-movie social where we have some jokes and trivia, song trivia, and other fun stuff. And then immediately after the movie, we have some discussion and trivia about the movie. All right, so I guess it is time for all right, so we have some rules. Rules are 1 guess per clue and say your name, wait to be recognized, and then you may try to guess the title of the movie. So let's just get right at it. Clue number 1.
Clue.
All right, very good. Yes, you can stay unmuted. And we want some new people playing tonight. For those that guess that have never played before, we have special prizes for you. Our film this week is set across the pond in the early 1900s. Our film this week is set across the pond in the early 1900s. All
This
right.
is Ed.
Okay, Mr. Ed, go for it.
Titanic.
The Titanic would be a pretty good guess if we hadn't already seen it.
This is Herbie.
Herbie.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. That's another almost not even close. Okay, who else we have?
This is Shree.
Shree.
Is it the Memphis Belle?
Memphis Belle. Is that across the pond?
I think flew across the pond.
Part of it might be. All right, we're going to move on. That one's wrong too. Here we go. Clue number 2. Our film is an adaptation of the novel by the same name.
This is Jody.
Jody.
Dalton Abbey.
Dalton Abbey. Have we seen that one?
No.
I don't think we have, but
This is Dot.
it's still not going to see it. Okay, I hear Dot out there.
This is Dot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it? This is adaptation of Farewell to Arm.
Ooh, Farewell to Arms. That is very close, but no cigar this time. Good try.
Oh.
This is Herbie.
Anybody else? All right, Herbie's back for a second time.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
All Quiet on the Western Front. That is also very close. Oh, Herbie, so close that we're going to give it to you. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, yes.
All right.
Quiet on the front on 2 clues. How about that? I thought we were going to go at least.
Is Herbie a first-time winner?
I think we have a first-time winner. Yes.
No, I got one of the Christmas movies correct.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well,
we are going to pretend you're a first-time winner.
All right, Johnny, what do we have for our first-time winner tonight?
Okay, Herbie. Again, another first for Ibug. You are going to have your very own French tank called the Saint Chamond. And it is between 350 and 400. Only 3 were produced, so it's a very rare item. And there's like a few in a museum in France. And well, there is one problem. Well, hold on. It is the top speed, is about 7.5 miles per hour. And you probably never get that far because it gets stuck in mud. So, and it's got a 75 millimeter heavy gun on there, might come in handy. And it was widely enlisted by operators. Enlisted? Yes. No, sorry, disliked because of its poor trench crossing ability. So anyway, if you can avoid the trenches in our freeways here in Houston, you'll be great. Okay, Herbie? So there you go.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
in Ibug colors?
Oh, of course it's in Ibug colors. Yes.
By the way, this is not the original version that came out in 1930. Since we don't do anything older than 80 years old on Ibug.
Since when? We have you.
When?
We did a movie older than 80 years.
And me.
We don't have, that's not a rule.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Well, anyway, it's still not the old version that came out in 1930 or the one that came out with John Boy in 1979. It is the modern 2022, the winner of the Oscar for Best International Picture this year. And so we will be watching that version. And fortunately, even though it was originally produced in German, we have the English dubbed version.
All right.
But
all right, would you like to
the audio description is in German, so be prepared.
Details. All right, would you like to say goodnight, Mr. McCullough? All Right.
There he goes.
Very good. So thank you, Mr. McCulloch, for those awesome clues, and good job, Herbie, on clue number 2. Hold on to that tank. And now we're going to go back to we have a busy second half here. So we're going to have our iBug Bites. And then a little while after that, we're going to have our iToys segment. So hang on to your hats. Miss Marie, are you all set to go?
My bite today is in regards to the mail app. And if you're like me, sometimes you'll open up and maybe you haven't checked your mail for a while, and you may have several emails in there that you have no intention of reading, and you're just going to delete them. And rather than going in and deleting them at one at a time, there is a faster way to do it. So I'm going to give it a try here.
6:13 p.m. Show notifications button. Inbox heading.
Okay, I'm on my inbox, and I sent myself 3 test messages just to use for this demonstration. The thing you do is double tap on that edit button.
Cancel button.
We don't want to cancel. We want to go ahead with our edit, so I'm going to swipe down.
Search dimmed. Dim messages. Marie Nelson. FW. Unread. Rena Levy. Buzz test 3. 11:27.
Okay, there's one that I want to delete. There's one.
Available.
There's one I want to delete, so I'm going to double tap it, which will select that message.
Selected. Unread. Rena Levy. Buzz test 3. 11:20. Unread. Rena Levy. Buzz test 2. 11:20. Selected. Unread.
So I just selected that one.
Test 2. 11:20. Unread. Rena Levy. Buzz test 1. 11. Selected.
Okay,
unread.
so
Rena
now.
Levy. Buzz test 1. 11:28.
It's nice to tell me I didn't write anything in the message. It just has a subject. Anyway, now that you have your 3 messages selected, or however many you do, and they don't have to be consecutive. They can be anywhere in the list of messages. You can go down and just pick out messages that maybe you've read and you saved them for some reason. You want to delete them, or you want to do something with them. So now that you've got them all selected, you can do your swiping up and down and see what different options you have of what you can do with those 3 selected messages.
Mark as read.
So you can mark them all as read.
Flag.
You can flag them if you want to flag them for importance.
More.
I'll get to the more button in a minute. You can read later. You can drag them, or you can delete them. I just went back and my 3 messages that were that I wanted to delete, I just swiped down with my finger till I got to delete, double tapped it, and it did delete those 3 messages, or wherever you have. So it just speeds things up, and there's a lot of things you can do with multiple messages all at one time. That's it.
All right. Thank you.
This is Pete.
Go ahead.
Just another option that you have is as you did your actions rotor up and down, and you got to that, you can to delete, you can go down to the bottom of the screen with your 4-finger single tap at the bottom, and you'll find trash or delete. Mine has trash, and you just single double tap, and it will do the same thing.
Correct. But by doing the up and down, I was just showing what other options that there were there that you could do with those selected messages. But yes, you're right. If you just want to do a quick delete, Pete's correct. If you do that, tap down at the bottom and find trash, and they're just gone.
Hey, thank you, Marie. Definitely can save some time. All right, now we're going to have some questions before we get to the iToys segment. Anybody have a new question? There's somebody who hasn't had a turn?
This is Debbie Deathridge.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I have 2 questions, and they both relate to email. Does anybody know if there's a way, if you want to create a folder, can you do that on your, like in your Gmail? Can you do that on your phone, or do you have to do that on the computer? My second question is, when you've deleted messages and you go back, like in your trash, let's say you deleted a message and you didn't mean to delete it, so you go back in your trash. Sometimes it will show up in order, but most of the time it doesn't. I didn't know if there was a way that you could get your email messages to show once you've deleted them in the order that you've deleted them.
All right, let's take the first question. So your question is, can you create folders in the native Mail app or only in Gmail?
I use Gmail.
Right.
I mean in the Mail app on your phone, but I'm in my Gmail account.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to talk about how to create a folder in the
Gary?
native? Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, you can hit the edit button, and way down at the end, there is a create new folder or something like that. You double tap on that and you name it, and then it'll give you the option, if you have more than one account, where to point it, to which folder to associate it with, which account to associate it with, I should say.
All right. And then for the other question about retrieving things from the trash and what order do they go in?
Pete.
Anybody? Go ahead, Pete.
Yes, they are actually going to be in your trash box by date of the email, of the original email. So it doesn't matter when you deleted them. It has to do with the date that the email was sent to you and received by you.
All right.
So
Okay,
if you delete an email now, but it was sent to you a month ago, it will appear down the list in the date of the month ago.
Okay, so how do you find out when that was sent, the date of the email? Because do you actually have to go into the email?
You go into the trash list, which is where it will land when you've deleted it. Goes into your trash list, your
Right.
trash account mailbox, and then the only way I know how to find an old one is just to flick to the right until I get to it. Or if you know the title, the subject of it, you can do a search in your trash mailbox by the subject.
Oh, okay.
All right. Debbie, thank you. Those are great questions. Thank you.
Good question.
All right. Okay, who's
Mark in
next?
Montreal.
Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, I've done that. I've inadvertently deleted a message and it was sent last week or 2 weeks ago. So I can go in and search, and I can type in Ron for Ron Peltier, and it'll find all of Ron's messages, and it makes it a little bit quicker that way for me to find the message that I'm looking for. If you don't know what the subject is, if you know who it was from, you can do that too.
All right.
I'm
Very
done
good.
speaking.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, next question. Somebody new? A new topic?
This is Dot.
Go ahead, Dot.
Yeah, I have an iOS related question, of course, but not mail. Anybody having a hard time with the latest update, 16.4 with voiceover? I do. What it is when I'm in any app that have a bunch of lists like mail, like I'm flicking right in my messages, and then sometimes the voiceover just start all over, and then it go right back to the top of the list again. Yeah, so
All
like
right.
suddenly
Yes.
it's just frozen, and then screen curtain on, and it's go back to the top left again.
All
So
right.
I don't know what to do.
Who would like to help Dot? I think we kind of talked about this last week. I think Steven was having this problem. Anybody have a solution?
This is Herbie.
Go, Herbie.
One solution that was suggested to me, and I think it does kind of work, if you go into your accessibility settings and under voiceover, and then the voiceover recognition, and completely disable screen recognition, that can at least help the issue a little bit, to where your voiceover at least won't lose its place and not do it as much. But it is a bug that ultimately needs to get fixed.
All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Herbie. Great
Thank you.
question, Dot. Good
Thank
luck.
you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Thank you.
frustrating. Join the club. Okay, next.
Okay.
Good job, though. We always like new people asking questions, so good job. All right, who else? Oh, did I hear Linda?
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I changed my password on my Juno email account, and I changed it, on the website. But then it told me I had to go into my phone and change it there, and I did. I went under settings and then the mail, and then I went to Juno and I changed it there. But my email is not working. I'm not getting mail. I haven't really tried to send any, but I'm not getting any mail since I changed my password.
Okay. And you used Juno and you changed it on the
Very old
website.
email account.
Yeah. That's your only email account. Okay. Right. Anybody have any?
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
And so I know you said you went to settings, mail, and accounts and picked Gmail.
Juno.
And you tapped on, I can't remember exactly what it is.
She
but
chose
you went in
Juno,
and redid
Brad.
the
Juno.
Juno.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah.
Juno's the mail
Well,
server.
I would suggest deleting the account and resetting it up. That might do it.
Okay.
But you
with
went
the
into
new-
Juno and reset it. That is an old one, man.
Yes, it is old.
That's vintage old.
Classic.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so delete the account and
You
start
can
over?
always do that and reset it up.
Okay, but use my same email account just with a different
Well, you'd be
password.
Well, when you set it up, well, I'm wondering if it's even going to show. You've had it on your phone probably forever, right?
Yes.
You might have to set it up under other, because you know how when you go in there to set up new accounts, it lists all kinds of things: Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, and then down the bottom there's other. And it just doesn't work. And is this the only device you've got it on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, I have it on my computer, but
is it working over there?
yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'd go back and look through those accounts, but you've already entered it in there.
This is
The
Terry.
only thing you did is change the password, nothing else.
Okay, let's see if Terry Ann has some
Yeah,
ideas.
see what
Go ahead.
Terry Ann's got.
In mine, you have your incoming mail and your outgoing mail, which I think you have in Juno as well. And I have to change my password in 2 different places. So if you're saying you're not receiving incoming mail, if you can determine whether or not you can send mail, that might help you to know whether or not the problem is just in your incoming mail, where it's you may need to reset something there rather than having to reset the entire thing. You ultimately may have to do that, but you have incoming and outgoing SMTP and and POP. Okay, you have POP 3 with Juno probably. Yeah, so you might need to check to see if you in fact can send messages, because that might give you some clue as to what's going on.
Okay,
Right.
I'll give that a try. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody have a quick question before we get to iToys? Buddy?
This is Marcia.
Go ahead, Marcia.
I get an email from ACB every day, and I love it and I use it. And all of a sudden, it's been going to junk or to trash, and I can't get it to. I can go in there and put it back in the inbox every day, but I want to permanently make it so it comes to the inbox.
All right, quickly, does anybody have a solution for Marcia?
This is Karen.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Karen. They normally recommend that you save it in your contacts. Try that. So save it as a contact, and it should recognize it as something legitimate.
Okay. So save
You
the
see that often. I mean, you see that at different places. It said, to prevent it from going to junk, put it in your safe senders list.
Right. So
Save
whoever
it
the
as
recipient is, whoever the sender is, Marcia, put it in as a contact, and then it'll know that it's a real person.
This is
This is
Brad.
Pete.
Okay, Brad, and then Pete, and then we're moving
Yeah, a
on.
lot of times these things are happening on your email server side before it even gets to your device. So whatever your email provider is, you want to log on to your web portal to that email account, find it in the junk folder and mark it as not spam there. Because it doesn't matter. A lot of times, because it's happening on the server side, it doesn't matter what you do on your device. You can make it a contact. You can repeatedly tell it in your email app on your iPhone that it's not spam, but because it's getting moved to spam by your email provider, nothing you do on that end is going to ever fix it. You got to go to the web-based portal and fix it.
All right, quickly, Pete, you got anything else to add to that?
Well, it might be a little easier, and if this doesn't work, then do what Brad said. But just tap on the ACB email address, that the one it came from, and do a double tap on that, and you might see a screen that says "Create new contact," and double tap on that, and then that's how you'll create a contact with the ACB email address that it's coming from as one of your iOS contacts, and then it might save the problem. If not, then like Brad said, you need to go to the server.
All
But
right.
try that.
Very good. Now we need to move on. Thank you very much. And we are going to get started with the iToys segment. And then soon after that, any remaining, it'll be a few minutes, and then we'll come back for other remaining questions.
Well, hello everybody. Today, tonight we're gonna have iToys, and I've got a guest joining me, Shri. We're gonna hear his pre-recorded presentation first, and then he can come back and add in any additional live comments. We're gonna hear about a pretty cool device. I had not heard of it until recently, and it strikes me as an in-between an AirTag and a tile tracker. It's called the Tripolo Wallet Tracker. And take it away, Shri.
Namaste, this is Shri, and thank you, Herbie, for letting me present in today's iToys segment. Do you ever find that using the AirTag is just too big to put in your wallet? Or you currently have a tile tracker and it does fit in your wallet, but you don't have all the benefits that you get from the Find My app? And if you're looking for a tracker to address these two issues, then I would suggest considering taking a look at the Chipolo Card Spot, spelled CHIPOLOCARD SPOT. First, I'm going to go through the steps in installing the Chipolo Card Spot, and then I'll talk about the reasons why I like using it, and conclude by taking a look at some of the features in the Chipolo Card Spot. To install Chipolo, I need to go to the Find My app and double tap.
Find My map.
Four-finger single tap near the bottom of the screen lands on the Me tab.
Me tab 4 of 4.
Swipe left, lands on the Items tab, double tap.
Items tab 3 of 4. Selected items tab 3 of 4.
Touch and explore until I hear Items headings, swipe right.
Items heading. Add button.
Double tap.
Add other item button 4 of 4.
Double tap.
Searching items heading.
Now it's time for me to go back to the Chipolo Card Spot and locate the only tactile button on the card, and I'm going to push it once to pair it to my iPhone. The Find My app right away recognized the Chipolo Card Spot.
Chipolo Card Spot heading.
Swipe right until I hear the Connect button and double tap.
Connect button.
I'll need to give it a name and an emoji.
Name item heading.
Swipe right.
Add a name for this item.
Swipe right.
Text field.
Double tap to bring the insertion point.
Insertion point at end. Cap S. R. E. E. Space. 3. W. A. L. L. E. T.
Touch and explore on the virtual keyboard until I hear the done and double tap.
Done. Close button.
Swipe right.
Add a name for this item.
Swipe right.
Sri Wallet. Text field.
Swipe right until I hear the continue button and double tap.
Continue button. Choose an emoji. Heading. 15 emojis found.
Swipe right.
Choose an emoji. Heading.
Swipe right.
Select an emoji to represent this item.
Swipe right until I get to the text field. Double tap to search for an emoji.
Search emoji. Text field. Insertion point at end.
I'll use the virtual keyboard and type in wallet.
W. A. L. L. E. T. 2 emojis found.
Swipe right and select one of the two.
Back of a credit card. 1.
Or
identification card. 2.
Swipe left.
Back of a credit card. 1.
Double tap.
Back of a credit card. Choose an emoji. Heading.
Swipe right until I hear the continue button and double tap.
Continue button. This item is linked to your Apple ID. Heading.
Swipe right. Swipe right.
703.
Swipe right.
You can locate this item using the Find My network. Using this item to track people without their consent is a crime in many countries and regions around the world. This item is designed to be detected by victims and to enable law enforcement to request identifying information about the owner.
Swipe right and double tap.
Agree button. Sri Wallet. Heading.
Swipe right.
My location. Springfield.
Swipe right.
Sri Wallet.
Swipe right.
Map.
Swipe right.
Legal. Link.
Swipe right.
With you.
It recognizes that Chipolo is with me now. Swipe right.
Directions and maps.
Swipe right.
View this item on a map and use the Maps app to navigate to it.
Swipe right.
Play sound.
Swipe right.
Lost mode.
Swipe right and double tap on Finish, and the installation is completed.
Finish button.
Now that the installation has been completed, let's take a look at some of the reasons why I like using the Chipolo card spot. 1. It works with the Find My app. 2. I only need to use one app to search for all my trackers. 3. The installation is easy and simple. 4. It's the size of a regular credit card, but a little bit thicker. 5. I can use any of my other devices that supports the Find My app to locate the Chipolo card spot. 6. Compared to a tile tracker, which has a crowdsource that are in the millions, Chipolo's going to have crowdsource that's in the billions. 7. I can use the Find My app to play a sound on the Chipolo card spot. 8. I can turn on the lost mode and have someone notify me once they find the device. 9. I can also set up a left behind notification, which means that if I leave my wallet behind, I'll get notified. But I can also create a whitelist, such as if I'm at my home and my wallet is there, I don't need to be notified. 10. The battery unit on the Chipolo cannot be replaced, but it should last about 2 years. I also registered my unit, and if the unit is registered, after 2 years, I can return the unit back to Chipolo, and they can give me another unit at half off. And finally, I purchased this in a bundled package, which includes the Chipolo card spot and the Chipolo One Spot, which is a keychain for $49.99. The only thing that I wish it included was the U1 chip, which has the precise location. And unfortunately, that's a proprietary with Apple, so it doesn't come with the precise location like the AirTag does. I do have one toss-up, and that is that I cannot use my Chipolo card spot to ping my iPhone, like I can do using my tile tracker. For some of you, this could be a showstopper, but for me, it's not. And the reason is, when I have my tile tracker inside my wallet in my back pocket, and at random times, it pings my iPhone, which can also be a nuisance. And I also know that I have other Apple devices that I can use to ping my Chipolo. Let's take a quick look at some of the features of the Chipolo card spot. 2-finger swipe down, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Sri Wallet. With you button. Now button. Battery charge is 100%. Play sound off button.
Let's take a look at how loud this is. I currently have my Chipolo card spot inside my wallet. Double tap.
Play sound connecting. Play sound off. Directions with you button. Notifications. Notify when found, dimmed, switch button, off. Selected, notify when left behind, on button.
Let's take a look at the settings inside here. Double tap.
Notify when left behind, heading.
2-finger swipe down, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Done button. Map pen. Notify when left behind. Switch button. On. Receive a notification when you leave Sri Wallet behind. This can be helpful when taking this item with you. Notify me, except at home. New location button.
Double tap on new location, and I can either type or dictate a new address and then add that to my whitelist.
Selected. Notify when left behind. On button. Lost mode. Enable button. Manufacturer. Chipolo. Serial number. Model. Chipolo card spot. Firmware. 1.1.5. Rename item. Remove item. Card controller. Full screen. Sri Wallet. Close button.
And these are all the things I want to cover inside the Chipolo card spot. And in my opinion, this is my go-to tracker for my wallet.
All right, and the beeping you heard, of course, was just the disguising of his location. And yes, I did mispronounce the name. It's the Chipolo thing, not Tripolo.
Card spot.
Yeah, card spot. So, Shri, did you want to add anything, or shall we go on right to questions?
No, right to questions, fine.
I agree. All right, so with that, Sandhya is... Yep, go ahead, Pete.
Sri, did you happen to notice that the alarm sound that you played is actually the introduction to the Toto song, Toe the Line?
No clue, but thank you.
I thought it was chopsticks, but yeah, but then they do use kind of the similar thing. So, all right, very good. Anybody else? Well, not hearing any, I just will say that this definitely sounds like a pretty cool gadget, and so for $50, you seem to get a pretty good deal, and that's a little bit interesting about the battery unit that you do have to replace the unit and all that to get that replaced after every 2 years. That could be a little bit annoying, but then again, some people might find taking the batteries out of the AirTags annoying too, because that can be a little bit of a tricky thing.
This is
all
true.
right. Yes.
I was going to say, the tile tracker is the same thing, right? You can't replace the battery. You have to replace the card at some point.
Okay.
And the only thing, like, I did try the tile tracker first, and like I mentioned, since I put my wallet in my back pocket, every time I'm on a bumpy road and the button gets pushed, because it does have the button to ping your phone, my phone would get pinged very frequently.
Right.
And that's why I was looking for a good solution. And the other solution, the reason I got this one is one day that I was looking for a wallet, I could not, on the app, could not ping my tile tracker. I just couldn't find it by swiping. And so I finally gave up and said, you know what, this is a much better and easier solution with the Find My app to ping a device.
Yep. Let's see. I'm just looking at where we at time-wise. Okay, I've got 5 more minutes, so I'm going to ask you a very interesting question then. Why would you use these over AirTags?
Well, it depends on, we as men, we have a wallet, and putting an AirTag, it basically creates a big bump on the wallet.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons, I do have, one of my wallets does have a place where you can connect a lanyard, but then it'd be just dangling out. So I wanted something that, has a flush finish in my wallet. So it's not protruding out, and doesn't take a lot of space, because the AirTags don't take a lot of space.
Describe one more time what it looks like, because I got a little bit lost on that.
So it basically looks like a credit card. If you have a credit card, for all you Apple lovers, you might have an Apple credit card, or you might have a Visa or a MasterCard. It's the same size as that, but it's a little bit thicker than a regular credit card. But it does slide into a credit card slot.
Well, just don't accidentally take it out of your wallet when somebody asks to see your credit card when you're purchasing something. And okay, this is the last call for questions for Shri regarding the Chipolo card spot tracker.
Kathy.
All right, I heard Kathy, and I heard somebody else after Kathy, but Kathy, go ahead first.
How far away do you have to get from it before it lets you know you're leaving it behind?
I'm going to guess it's probably about maybe about 30 to 50 feet, because it is using Bluetooth for that.
And so you would hear it, like if you left it in your office and you started to walk down the hall or something, it was pretty loud.
You get an
on your phone or on your watch.
Yeah, so somebody because I get this I have this with AirTags. We get a notification on our phone saying the thing you've labeled has been left behind, and it gives the location that it last sees it at. So that's how that works.
Okay.
And just keep in mind, there's a big crowdsource difference between a tile tracker and a Chipolo, because it uses the Find My. We're talking about millions versus billions, so.
And if you want more details on that, definitely look at the Ibug Cafe we did on tiles versus the AirTags, and we go into a lot more detail on that. All right, I believe somebody else had a question.
This is Karen.
Karen.
Mm-hmm. Can you use it in other things, like, I don't know, can you put it on your remote control or lose your remote? Or can you, like some of the phone cases have wallets in them on the back, put it in that?
Yep. Like I said, it's the size of a little bit thicker than a credit card. So if it has a credit card slot, it should fit in there. I know that on the MagSafe wallets, it does fit in there.
Okay. And can you add other things to it? Like, is it just for one device, or can you add multiple devices?
It's to one device. It's basically you're putting it into when you say multiple devices, are you talking about, can you assign it to
Well, I mean,
multiple
it
devices?
goes through iCloud, so you should, if you have an iPhone and an iPad, for instance, signed into your iCloud account, you'd be able to see the device on your iPad as well as your iPhone, correct?
Yes, because
Yes.
as long as you
that's
have the
what I thought.
Find My app on your device, whichever device that you have, you can ping that device.
Yep, so that'll work on your phone, iPad. It also works on the Mac. So so that's how you can see it on multiple devices signed into the same iCloud account and using the Find My app.
This is Pete.
All right, Pete, take us out.
I'm just wondering, Sri, can you explain what you meant by the crowdsourcing? Why is it better to have a larger crowdsourcing impact than not? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
Sure. So crowdsourcing is where people around the environment. So let's say, for example, we all have iPhones, right? So what crowdsource does with the Find My app is it starts pinging others that are walking by that has an Apple device. And so once it recognizes someone walking by, it pings that address back to me saying that this person walked by my device at this location. So because Apple has, so many users out there, not just the iPhone, the iPad and the Mac. So the chances of someone pinging your device is at a much higher scale than, say, someone who has a tile, which is in the millions. That's why I said, you're looking at something that's a million versus a billion.
Good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pete. Thank you, Shri, for coming. And with that, Sandhya, I know you're eager to take back over.
All right. Thank you, guys, Herbie and Shri. All right. We love tracking devices, so good to hear about other options. All right. Okay, who else didn't have a turn? We have a few minutes left for the end. Anybody have a question?
It's Linda.
Go ahead, Linda.
I just wanted to let Brad know I deleted my email account and put it in, and now it works. Thank you very much.
All right. Good job, Brad. Good job, Linda. Okay, I have a question.
Very good. Good to know.
Good job. Okay, so my question is, we had an event this weekend, and we people took photos, and the volunteer sent me 4 photos with a text message. And then I wanted to forward that message to somebody else. I couldn't do it. How can I send those pictures? Do I have to download each one first and then send them? That's the question.
This is Pete.
Go, Pete.
So you got them as a text message. Did you try the normal forward?
Yes, I did that.
Feature?
Doesn't work.
Okay. Never mind.
No, Brad?
You said text message. Does that mean they're not an iMessage?
They're attachments. No, she had an iPhone.
Okay, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean sometimes iPhones send SMS messages. If you're having trouble, that may be what you have to do is download them to your, they could be, I don't know. There's 4 pictures.
I just can't believe that it's kind of a pain. I thought it would be easier because then you have to go back, download them, and then go back and select them and then send them again.
Correct. I realize that. You're right. So I don't know. That's what I was wondering if they had something to do with.
Okay. Let's see. Shri?
Did you just try to maybe airdrop it?
No, this person is far away. So
this is Jody.
Oh, Jody.
Yeah, when you tap on the picture and it then brings the picture up, and then you've got a share button at the bottom, and then you can just share that picture individually, or you can save it. I don't think you actually have to go into your photos or anything. You can actually do that from within the text message.
Okay, I'll have to try that. I didn't see a share button from there, but okay.
Well, yeah. Once you bring up the picture, there should be the share at the bottom.
Okay, go ahead, Tree.
How about just creating a photo share library and just put them all in there?
I'm being lazy because it's just 4 pictures. So
true, but I'm just saying, that way, those people that are in that photo share library, they all have access to the photo, and then they can add photos too.
All right.
This is Terry.
Go, Terry.
I had exactly that problem, except I had 14 pictures and it was difficult to send them. But if you double tap on each one and select it, sometimes if you go to, there should be a share button. Sometimes that'll work, but if it doesn't, even though they're in your text message, they should be in your Photos app so that you can go in there and try selecting them and sending them and swipe down. And I think there's a send button. But it was tricky for me too, because I got it to work one time with one person who had an iPhone, and then I didn't get it to work with the next person that had an iPhone. So it was like trial and error for me as well. But I think I eventually did it from Photos because they went there automatically.
Okay, so you're saying, because I was under the impression they had to be saved first before we could send them. But okay, I will go. And I tried a couple of different things and got frustrated. So okay, I'll try. All right, thank y'all. Okay, who else? Anybody? Any question?
This is Terry with a comment, an observation. And maybe we talked about this, and forgive me if we have, but I've slept a lot since then. I sometimes will be, well, it could be anywhere. It could be in an email, or especially in WhatsApp. I'll want to go to a particular chat group. I'll double tap on that chat group and then try to find the people in there and the message that I want to listen to. But lo and behold, it puts me back on my home screen, and I think it's a what am I trying to say?
Focus, like a
focus
issue
problem. Yeah. And I don't know if we discussed this recently, and this is with iOS 15 or iOS 16. And I'm wondering if anybody else is still having that issue.
So you said WhatsApp, but is it also happening in email? Just all kinds of places?
It can happen anywhere, but it's a random kind of thing. It could be in an email, it could be in WhatsApp, it could be in a text, in messages when I'm trying to double tap on a message that I want to read. An iMessage.
This is Shri.
Oh, Shri.
You want to try what Herbie suggested, turning screen recognition off in the
It
voiceover?
Is off.
And is it happening when you're on screen curtain?
I don't have the screen curtain turned on.
Terry, we've all been, this call, we've talked a lot about losing focus. So in the apps, everybody else is very focused, but.
This is Shri.
Go ahead.
So I brought this up a couple of weeks ago about people stealing people's phones and locking them out. So recently it was posted to go ahead and go into screen time and change the password in there. So my question is, if they've got into the phone, how does putting a password in screen time would alleviate people from locking the phone out?
Okay. Yes, I remember the solution. Any thoughts? How does putting your password in screen time prevent people from stealing everything?
Arlene?
Go ahead, Miss Arlene.
What is screen time?
All right. Go ahead.
This is Shri. So screen time is basically used where parents can monitor their kids and put a time lock on how long they can use their device. So they get an alert for screen time. So you can kind of configure that.
This is Herbie.
Oh, Herbie.
It's my understanding that what the screen time protection does is if they can't, it doesn't prevent them so much from looking at your data, it prevents them from doing things like making purchases or anything like that because of the confirmation password that's needed, which would be your separate screen time password. So that's my understanding of how it's supposed to protect you. It prevents people from making purchases and actually getting into the more sensitive parts of your phone.
Great. I have a related question. I got a note from my screen time, and it said I was averaging 23 hours and 40 minutes. I'm like, how is that even possible? So how is that? Is that just like messed up or what? That doesn't
This
mean
is
I'm
Shree.
using my phone all the time. Go ahead, Shree.
Do you have your lock screen to never?
It locks. I mean, it locks.
It locks, so it does. You don't have it set to never.
No.
Hmm.
It just surprised me. Like, I mean, it's just my phone is like going all the time. Anybody else? Okay, just weird.
Maybe you do have your phone on all day long. You're looking at it, and you just don't know.
Probably.
This is Brad.
Brad.
Are you leaving apps open? I'm wondering if you've got apps that are open and they're doing stuff, and so therefore, the phone is, the processor is doing stuff, and I don't know. I turned that stuff off the day it was introduced because I didn't care.
Well, I know I didn't turn it on. I think it's on by default, but it's just kind of a curiosity. It's more a curiosity than anything. I could care less, but it's just kind of weird. All right.
No,
Anybody
that's
else?
interesting. I wonder why it's doing that.
Yeah, very strange.
This is Shree.
Go, Shree.
Did it tell you which app was on for 23 hours?
I'm sorry, what?
Did it tell you which application was on for 23 hours?
No, it just says your
Maybe we're
average
leaving
screen
Uber
time.
Eats open all the time.
Yeah.
Because it would say which application is running during that time.
No, I didn't see that. It just gave me an hour. All right. Anybody else? Last minute question? Okay. Who's that?
Oh, it's Debbie real quick.
Go, Debbie, go. Debbie, hurry.
On Facebook, I don't know if anybody's had any issues when you get a message that your account's been hacked or whatever. I changed my password, and I've heard this is a bug. So I changed my password on my phone, and I don't know if that's it. You should always do that when your account gets hacked or whatever. And I forgot to, or I think I accidentally said log out devices, or not. I didn't check keep me log in. Well, when I went back on my iPad and tried to log back in, I can't. The password that I changed it to, it won't let me. And somebody says it was there's a bug with Facebook, so I didn't know if anybody's been having problems with that.
All right. Anybody? Facebook password issues? Or we're gonna have to
Shree.
Go, Shree.
Did you try uninstalling and reinstalling it on your iPad?
Yes.
And it didn't recognize the password you put in?
Correct.
Hey, not good. But you are able to get it on your phone.
Correct. And somebody said that they thought it was a bug with Facebook, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? So we'll have to
Angelo?
Go, Angelo.
Sorry for these dumb questions. For screen time, is that in the control center or in settings?
This is Shree.
Brad.
Settings.
Yeah. Settings, okay. And when it says password, do you mean the digits for getting into your phone, or do you mean the Apple ID for getting things from the App Store?
Brad.
Separate passcode for screen time.
Completely different? Okay.
Separate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Good question. And we will figure out the thing about that Facebook issue, Deb B. And then we are at the end of our meeting. Thank you so much, Marie, for all your help. Great questions, everybody. We covered a lot of ground. Quick recap. We got a busy week, like I said. Tomorrow we have 2 events, Clubhouse, Mini Buzz, 5 to 6. Then Mac and Talk, 7 to 8:30. Wednesday we're off. Thursday is It's iBugs Live. Some for some cooking it's going to be a lot of fun with our guest chef, Herbie. And who knew Herbie could cook? I know he can. So I'm looking forward to it. Friday is iBug Night at the Virtual Movies, 8 o'clock. We're going to be watching It's All Quiet on the Western Front, a 2022. It's a brand new movie. So come and check that out. And then Saturday is iBug Apple Workshop from 2 to 4. So lots going on this week. And remember, we are doing our tech shopping spree. So please consider even telling your friends about it. If you have already thought about it, let others know. Okay, with that, we would like to say goodnight. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Good night. Thank
Night,
you to my
everybody.
bouncer,
Thank
Shree
you.
and Julie and Herbie. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good
Bye.
night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.
Good night.
Well.